Hey everyone, how are you guys doing tonight? Happy NaNoWriMo Day 4, it looks like. Very exciting. So I wanted to come in here and do a live stream. First of all, I've been enjoying doing live streams, whether I'm talking about some kind of, article, like some news or anything like that, or whether I'm talking about writing in general or just some updates, whatever's going on. I've just been really enjoying it. And as you guys may have seen on Twitter, I had asked what did you want to see in terms of videos for NaNoWriMo, and the number one question was, the number one answer was vlogs. That took up 50% of the vote. So that's what I have been doing. And I've been so enjoying it, and I didn't plan on doing them every single day, but that's what I've been doing. So today I didn't have one because I was going to do a live stream and because I was vlogging all day. So you guys can expect a fun one tomorrow. I went to an event. It was a writing event. It was a mystery writers event that was hosted by Cloak and Dagger and sponsored by Mystery Writers of America and Sisters in Crime. So I went to that, and there was a panel. It was a little difficult to record, but I did bring you with me anyway, and I showed you around the town where it was, which is Princeton, and that is a beautiful, beautiful place. So hey, Amber. Hey, Joe. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's awesome to see you guys in the chat. So what I wanted to do today was, if anybody had questions that they just felt like chatting about, or any like concerns or things that they wanted to say were going right, I wanted to just throw this live stream up. Live streams were the second most requested thing that were on the Twitter poll, and the last one was pre-recorded NaNoWriMo advice, which since it's the last one, it's not on my channel, and instead it is in This Week in Indies every week on Go Indie Now. So check out their Facebook, and you can then see what pre-recorded advice I have for you guys. And I do try to keep it different than what I have done in past years. So anyway, what I wanted, Amber's is saying, I love Princeton. It is so beautiful, and it was perfect weather. It was fall, it's fall, of course, and it was like not quite jacket weather. I'm wearing my NaNoWriMo sweater, and this was nice and warm enough to wear without a jacket. So it was really comfy. I bring you guys into a bookstore with me, and I bring you around the campus a little bit. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. One of the things, first of all, I went on Twitter and I was looking around at what people have asked in general. These questions aren't necessarily for me, but I just saw them and thought that they were good. So in case any of you happen to be wondering about them, I wanted to answer like 2 or 3 of these. Of course, if you have questions, leave them in the chat. But otherwise, I also wanted to share with you a couple of things that have inspired me like throughout my life. And I thought that that could be something. I'm going to show you the pictures, so maybe you'll be able to use them yourself. So first, let me talk about these questions. One person on Twitter is asking, if you don't do research before Nano, do you do it while you're writing or after Nano while you're revising? So one of the things for me is that I do write historical fiction. What I'm writing right now is not historical fiction, but it always has been in the past. So if I needed to do research, sometimes I get stuck doing it during NaNoWriMo because it'll be pivotal to the scene. And I can tell you from experience that I have sometimes written things without doing the research, thinking, oh, I'm just going to do this, now, and I'll fix it later. And then I end up building an entire scene around it. And when it ends up wrong, because it's wrong in the time period, it really can cause issues. So I would say it depends on what you are researching. If it's like something that's no big deal, that doesn't really affect the plot or something, or that doesn't affect the characters' development, where they're going, stuff like that, then I would say wait. But if it's going to really make a big difference to your story, then you may want to take a few seconds and look it up. There's a scene in Anatomy of a Darkened Heart. This is not a spoiler, but it does involve candlelight. Well, no, it did involve candlelight in the original version. And then I had to update it to gaslight because that's what they were using. But when I used candlelight, there was something important that happens with that candlelight, and it was very difficult to change that, actually. I had a tough time because I had something... I had the way something caught fire, and the person had to put it out, and the way that that all happened, it couldn't happen that way at all. And it actually, when I had to switch to gaslight, it actually made it really difficult and changed the way that that scene had to go. And it took me time to fix that. So, and a couple of things had to change about the lighting, which did affect some of the story. So if you're looking at a major thing that's easy to find like that could affect everything, just do it, like just quick look it up. Maybe don't interrupt your writing at that moment, but look it up and figure it out so you're not like, oh my God, my whole book is wrong, you know? That's my advice there. And then I saw another one that was, this is just a simpler one. If I switch to a different manuscript today, can I still count it towards my full NaNoWriMo total? Yes, of course you can. The whole thing with NaNoWriMo is, first of all, you can do it any way you want to. And like I've said in the past, you can start at any time. You can do whatever you feel like for it. Some people do NaPoWriMo, where they're writing a poem a day. Some people do NaBlowRIMO or something like that, where it's blog writing every day. And some people are just trying to write. And I have definitely in the past, whenever I write something off topic or in a different, a completely different book, work in progress, I keep that. I add that to the word count. It doesn't matter because I've written. So obviously if your goal is to write one book and when you go off of that goal, you're sort of like, that's not what I meant to do and I don't want to count it. I mean, you don't have to, but for me, it would be discouraging to not count everything I've been doing. I've written for every day so far, except today, which I'll probably write later on, and I've counted every single thing in there, every single word in a totally different work in progress. And that's over 3,000 words now. I still have to update the NaNoWriMo site, but it's over 3,000 words now, and I would have been really discouraged if I couldn't count that because it's not what I had wanted to write on. It's not the project I wanted to do. So that's my thing. And I thought there was one more. Someone asked what qualifies someone to write and attempt to publish or self-publish a book. And that was an open question. And I mean, you know, lots of people have no qualification is a very, very formal word, I would say. I wrote all my life. I've written all my life. And I really didn't want to go through a publishing company because I really wanted to publish what I wanted to publish. I wanted it unchanged. And so I didn't really need qualifications. I made sure that it was edited and proofread and everything like that. And that was what I considered the qualification, as long as I feel like I'm publishing something really quality, that I believe is quality. And I've had it looked at and I really believe that, you know, the errors are gone or mostly gone. That qualifies me. I don't think it has to be formal. So, you know, that's my opinion. But of course, to all of these questions, if you guys have a different opinion, definitely leave them down below if you're watching this afterwards. Yeah, my Halloween necklace is still hanging there. Actually, I meant to turn it on before it came on so it would be still blinking. That's really, I don't ever want to take it down. So I'll probably leave it there for the rest of my life. I won't leave it there. But anyway, I'm still in Halloween and I'm not giving it up anytime soon. I watched a Halloween movie last night. You can't stop me, and I'm gonna keep eating Halloween candy. I'm just having fun with it. And it's funny because like once Halloween happens, sometimes I feel like more Halloween spirit than like 2 weeks before or a week before. I don't know, it's just the way it is. It depends on how work flows and everything. Halloween all year long. Yeah, you bet, Amber. And I know a lot of people who would agree with you on that. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks so much, Joe, for saying, he said, I binged on those videos today. They were awesome. You did great. I really appreciate that. I've been having so much fun with them. Like I said, I didn't plan on doing them every single day. And then I was having so much fun that I've done them every single day. So we'll see how long I can keep that up. It all depends on if I have something to talk about. So thanks so much for that. Now I want to show you guys something. This is something that has inspired me all my life, and you may be familiar with it. Do you guys know I Spy books? I use them for inspiration. Like, oops, a little bit of shine. Oop, yeah, there we go. That should be better. So I've used these all my life for inspiration, and I have a bunch of them actually. I find them so much fun because they have these spreads that like you can't really, I mean, I guess you could find some of these kinds of things elsewhere, but it's the way they're set up. Sometimes they capture a mood that I really like. Yeah, Amber, you know what I'm talking about. So I wanted to share some with you that for me have inspired me, and I was hoping that maybe they'll serve as writing prompts for you or inspiration or something like that, you know? So here's one. This is out of the I Spy mystery one. And this one, it's just the whole ambiance of this like sort of dusty attic. Hopefully that will be Yeah, you guys can see that. It's not too shiny. It's like a dusty attic, and it's got a lot of cool lighting involved, and it's got like this ship up there. And I remember, I just can't remember the song, but I remember that I was listening to, oh man, like I always have the essence of this song in my head, and I can never remember what it was. It was like it started with a B, and they were like not the main boy band of the time back in like the 90s, but if I remember that, I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna track that down. I'm gonna leave it down below in the comments afterwards. Gloria, yeah, it is. I really love that visual, and it's really cool. It's got like a lot of stuff, a dollhouse. It's got like an abacus. Is that the right way to say it? Anyway, it's got like a bird cage and like an old doll and everything. So if that's inspirational to you, definitely like take a screenshot and save it. It's even got some old keys. Let me see if I can show you guys without too much shine. Sorry for getting so close. But yeah, some old keys down there, and you know that I love keys, so that's one of those things. Whenever I would see keys in the I Spy books, I would be like, look, there's a key, even though I didn't have to find it. So I have a bunch of them. I have like a Christmas one, I have the original one, all kinds of stuff. But the other one that I have always been inspired by is Spooky Night, which is like a Halloween one. Amber, I love finding inspiration in unusual places too. It's so much fun, and then it's like your unique inspiration too, and it's super special. So here's the front of that one. Here's the spooky one, and it's got this cool haunted house that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a few pictures from this because I think that it has a lot of, like I said, ambiance. And for me, I'm always writing dark fiction, so for me, all of this is pretty great with the ambiance. Hopefully you guys can see pretty well. This is just like a gate, and to see like what's beyond it. And I used to love that picture because I would always be like, oh, I'm imagining like if I'm walking down there what I would find. And the whole idea of a gated mansion I always think is really interesting. But I always love this little sort of haunted house type of thing. And if you think of the fact that these are all miniatures, it's even more interesting and more fun. So I'm just peeking around to make sure you guys can see pretty well. I think it's really cool, and I just love, you know, if you can see any of the details, there'll be like a little skeleton guy, like maybe in the doorway, and some cool things around, like a blocked off window, a broken window that's all blocked off, and I like the whole moon up there, and the bat and the smoke coming out of the chimney. Like there's just a lot of detail coming in. Yeah, Joe, it is awesome. What gave a world of inspiration? Absolutely. And you guys, if you have read my writing, when you see this picture I'm about to show you, you're going to be like, oh man, the Dark Victoriana collection, this is where it started. So there you go. I don't think that's too shiny. That should be all right. Those places, one of those pictures that definitely, long before I was writing the Dark Victoriana collection, was definitely a big inspiration for me. And I looked at it and I was like, those maroon walls, this staircase, this old feel, this sort of maybe Victorian-esque feel in a way, like with the chandelier and the beautiful picture frames and stuff, that, oh, it always struck me. The infamous staircase, yes, Joe, that's right. And I always picture something similar to this, like when I write this kind of stuff. So you guys can actually see my literal inspiration and where it came from years before it actually was in my head what I was going to write, which I think is a lot of fun. And there's a lot of pages in here. Whoops, I keep hitting a button, and like one of these times something's gonna happen. Yeah, one of the creepiest scenes did take place on the staircase. That's exactly right. And it's amazing, like when you look back at your inspiration as a kid or the things you looked at as a kid, and you realize where some of this stuff came from, like, or maybe what was sitting at the back of your head. I think that's so interesting, and it's a lot of fun. So I also really like this fireplace. This fireplace is really cool. It's got a lot of stuff going on there, and it's got, I love all the little intricate details actually on there, and the chair with the hands right here, this beautiful sconce, I guess it's called. You know, all kinds of stuff that I really like, a lot of details. And I wanted to also share with you the library, because I know you guys will appreciate a library. Here we go. Here's the library in there, and I always thought that something scary could happen in there, and I loved the fact that they took the time to put a picture with like details and stuff right up in this corner. And it's just such a detailed, I love the amount of detail that they put in here. And then I'm going to flip like a number, I'm going to skip a number of pages because I want to show you this cool ambiance-ness that's happening here with this fountain that has, oh, what do you call that? The dry ice type of effect. I think that that's really cool too, and you know, it's like a midnight garden type of thing. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. I actually haven't read that book, but I've had it recommended to me several times. But actually, all of these visuals, all of these made me really want to. They inspired me when I was younger, and I didn't always write because it's something specific about them. Because I would sort of be like, well, I'm not sure what to do with it. Like, what should I do? I just want to write something that works with, you know, and now I can look at this stuff and just write something that inspires me. And it may have nothing to do with like a haunted house or anything like that, but I get now a lot better that something that inspires you, you don't have to write what's literally in front of you. And this is something I learned when I started doing, when I first returned to writing after college. And I started doing symbolic experimentalism. That's what I call it anyway. It's my word for the type of writing I do that you can find in a Guinness Sacred Journal, for example, that you can find it on my website. If you look at if you click on the link for the Guinness Sacred Journal, you'll see that piece, Oxygen Defined. And that's the one I'm talking about, where it's heavily just like, I think of something, I have like an ambiance, I have a visual, and I write the visual, and I write sort of what I see and what it means to me. Instead of trying to, I used to try to make it something literal and make it something real, like in this world that could happen, and it wasn't working for me. And then I started freeing my mind and freeing my creative spirit and just like writing what I was literally seeing visualized in my head. And it turned out that that was very symbolic, and I could really pick it apart and turn it into something that had a lot more meanings to it. So my whole point is really like, when you see an image that inspires you and you're not sure what to do with it, definitely hold on to it if you can. And sometimes that image will lead to something that has almost nothing to do with the actual image, but that's okay. Like, just go with it, you know? This is coffee. This is one of the coffees that I showed you guys in my vlog the other day. This is Bel Canto Espresso. It's really good. I like it a lot. So I'm really enjoying it. Amber is saying that Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil was a really good book, and it was heavily based on the author's actual experiences. That sounds really interesting. You know, those kinds of names for books really make me expect something in particular, which is always a big mistake. I would have to like read the back and actually see what it's about before I head into it. If I ever read like a title or buy a book for its cover, I have all these expectations about what I want it to be about, and that leads to no good. Coffee and chocolate are the essence of life. Yes, you are right, Amber. Those are the essence of my life too. So that's all I really need to do NaNoWriMo. I'm good, you know. That's pretty much it. So I am going to do in this upcoming week, this week in Indies, I'm going to talk about word sprints, which you guys probably mostly know about, but I'm going to mention them anyway and sort of tell you just a little bit about them. But then I'm going to make another suggestion that's slightly different and has to do with the images I'm talking about. So definitely tune in to this coming Thursday, This Week in Indies, and that's going to be on Go Indie Now's Facebook page, of course. I think that is pretty much all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So maybe we could do live streams once a week. We'll see how it goes. And if you guys have questions for the next one, or if you want to hear me talk about anything in particular, you have ideas, comments, whatever, worries, whatever you might have, leave them down below and I'll pick them up for next time. Also on November 9th, we are going to be doing the Writer's Edge, and that is going to, there are some cool things coming up for the Writer's Edge, by the way. Nobody knows about them yet, so you guys are the first to know that something is going to be coming up, some changes that are going to be pretty cool. And that one is on November 9th, this time at 8 p.m. Eastern. And this is going to be indie versus traditional. Sorry, guys. This is going to be indie versus traditional publishing. And I'm going to try to ask some different questions maybe some things having to do with NaNoWriMo. I think it's going to be cool because on the traditional side, we have some very interesting people. We have a major science fiction author who has a ton of books published. I believe it's Penguin Random House. Don't quote me. I have it listed on the Writer's Edge. The live stream YouTube is already set up. I'm going to set up the Facebook event this weekend. And the other person is the executive director of Thriller Fest, and she has had conversations like one-on-one live with Lee Child. And then we're going to have Joshua Robertson, and we're going to have Christina Rienzi, and they are both fantastic authors who have published a lot of books. Joshua Robertson has his own publishing company, and he has a lot of other awesome stuff behind him that we will talk about at the time. And then Christina Rienzi is the president of Sisters in Crime, as well as having published in multiple genres. So we'll be talking to them, and I think that's going to be very interesting. If you have specific questions, please feel free to leave them down below before November 9th so that I can add them in. But of course, come to the chat and hang out with us. You could meet some new people. We always have so much fun in the chat, and we do take all questions there. So I really hope to see you guys there. And if you are on like Twitter, for example, and you do Twitter a lot and you're doing NaNoWriMo, that is a very active community on Twitter. So please, go on there and find more people and meet new people, because it's a lot of fun, and I've discovered a lot of new authors that way. So I would recommend Twitter. I know it's not everybody's favorite place, but it's the most active that I have seen. Also, Joe from Go Indie Now does have his own Facebook NaNoWriMo group. So if you're interested in that, definitely get in contact with him. Leave something down below, maybe the link to your Facebook, and that way he can invite you. That is a growing group, and it's a lot of fun. So I hope to see you guys there. I hope to see you guys at the Writer's Edge. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to keep vlogging, and I will do another live stream, and it's going to be awesome. I hope you guys are having a great time with NaNoWriMo. I know I am, and I'm doing better than I had expected, so I'm thrilled with that. And I hope you guys are too. So I will see you soon. I'm not sure if the next live stream will be at the same time next week, but we'll figure it out. So thank you so much for spending time with me, and I'll see you soon.